I was wondering if I could see Scooby. He's my son. You're his dad? Yeah, we look alike, don't we? He did. They looked exactly alike. So now we're faced with the situation of this kid being a little liar. I pulled my boss, the owner, aside and asked him what to do. He told me that we're extremely shorthanded right now, and letting him go would be counterproductive because we're in the middle of training 3 people, and letting him go would force the more capable people to work 50+ hours a week. He told me not to say anything to Scooby, and that he and his wife would take care of it. A few weeks have passed now, and I no longer believe a word out of this kid's mouth. Apparently, the owners talked to him about his lying, but since then, it hasn't really stopped. He's taken off work due to vomiting all the time. At one point, he took 3 Fridays and 2 Saturdays off in a row because of all the vomiting and various digestion issues. He said he went to the doctor, and his doctor told him he was allergic to eggs, so he stopped eating eggs, and then he was okay. Meanwhile, I'll occasionally catch him eating a pre-packaged egg sandwich we bring for the employees for their lunch breaks. One time, he came in all sad and depressed again because his girlfriend broke up with him, and his productivity slowed down to a crawl. We told him to keep his personal drama at the door and send him home. That night, I see him and his girlfriend publicly snuggling all over my Facebook feed. I don't know what to do. I can't look this kid in the eye anymore, and my boss won't fire him. Do I just deal with it and keep letting this little crap look me in the face and lie every time he wants to take off work? Update 1. So it's been about 2 months since I last posted about this incident. A lot of really crazy things have happened, so I'll jump right in. After everything that happened with the last post, everybody simply put the yeeted dad incident in the back of their minds. They were pissed for a while, but they eventually let it go. I was the last one to let it go, but I eventually did. In retrospect, I shouldn't have because he never once owned up to the lie. He just acted like none of it ever happened. He tried to come up with lies to get out of working holiday shifts he was scheduled for, basically Christmas and New Year's, but nobody believed him, and he was told that if he didn't show up to these shifts, he'd be fired. He showed up to the Christmas shift, but he overslept through the New Year's shift. Nobody cared because we ended up not needing him for the shift anyway, and one of the new guys ended up covering for him on call. Everybody was pissed at him again, and he's been on thin ice ever since. Then, crap really hit the fan in the past few days. A couple of days ago, his apparently psycho girlfriend caught him hanging out in a car with one of our mutual coworkers. She had an absolute breakdown and started pounding on her window. Scooby hops out of the car to calm her down, and the coworker, let's call her Sky, drives off. The psycho girlfriend gets in her car and keeps trying to cut Sky off in traffic, or at least that's the story I heard from my boss. She eventually lets up, Sky manages to get home safe, and texted Scooby, basically cussing him out. Later that night, I make a quick stop by the store owner's house to pick something up for the store, and they tell me that Scooby called them and told them that he wouldn't be able to work for the next few days because he got into a big fight with his girlfriend, and she slashed his tires. The next morning, I show up for my shift, and Scooby calls the store. His speech is all slow, mumbled, and he's slurring his words. I immediately think he's strung out on something, as he's bragged about doing harder substances before. He tells me this story about how the night before, after his girlfriend slashed his tires, she calmed down, and they were walking around where they live, in some warehouse district somewhere apparently, looking for a store to grab money so they can call a tow truck to come get his car. While walking, he and his girlfriend got mugged. He's fine, but they beat her up pretty badly and took all their money. Because of this, he wouldn't be able to work for the next few days, which is Valentine's Day and our busiest day of the year by far. Nobody even wanted to speak to him at that point. And then this morning, it all came crashing down. The owner comes in, and I asked her if anyone has spoken to Scooby. Basically, she pulled a string, and his entire wall of lies came crumbling down. I can't make this crap up. So yesterday afternoon, Scooby tries calling the store with a disguised voice and asks for one of our coworkers, Ashley. He asks for her and tells her to meet him out the back of the store with his paycheck that was left for him at the cash register. He did this so that he could avoid having to talk to the owner. Well, she caught wind of it and showed up out back of the store with his paycheck, but he noticed and literally ran away. He shows up about a half an hour later, with fresh scratches on his neck. Because apparently when you get mugged by a group of guys, they scratch your neck. She confronted him about all of it, told him that she doesn't believe a word he ever says, and that she loves him, and wishes he'd stop making terrible decisions. By the end of the conversation, he basically admitted to all of the lies, and he was finally fired. And thus, is the tale of Scooby, the wandering liar.